Chumripsur, Namaste, hello. It was here at Phnom Kulen in Cambodia that the mighty Khmer Empire was born when Jayavarman II anointed himself king, breaking away from the Hindu Java Empire. In this series, we will see how the Indic influence was absorbed and adopted into the local culture and is still a pivot point around which the Cambodian culture and life revolve.
Hello and welcome again to Forgotten Temples with myself, Mr. B, inviting you on a quick 10-minute adventure to a mystical land oh so far away. And that, of course, is Cambodia, where we are following the footprints of those Hindu gods. Now, what is directly behind you, just there, is what I like to think of as a machine that makes dreams come true. It is an exceptional temple. I have travelled tens of thousands of miles, and this one always sticks in my mind. This is the way the devoted would have walked. We are in Koh Ker. It's an abandoned city in the jungle, once the capital for a mighty king, Jayavarman IV. And here is that incredible temple. Now, I've seen many Shiva lingas because they do proliferate the landscape of Cambodia, and the empire of the Khmers is not only restricted to Cambodia, of course. It once spread throughout large portions of Asia. But of all the Shiva lingas, this one is particularly impressive. This is the largest Shiva Linga temple of its type I have ever seen. And it is so beautifully situated. All around me is nothing but jungle. It is almost a spiritual experience just to meet these temples and to gaze upon them. Now, what I need to do is show you how large it is. I mean, it's not enough for me to say this is the largest and then just point at it. We must make the size of it a reality. Now then, it's for me to clamber up here so you can get a much clearer perspective. Because I believe the further that I go away, the more that single fact will become clear. It really is a jewel in a crown, this one. He reminds me very much of a medieval stockade. He's just one solid block of a temple. He's absolutely awesome. As we clamber up, we will get our first view of that Shiva Linga we have come to see. Now, it has been attacked. What's happened to it, I don't know, over the course of time, because this site was abandoned for century after century. But again, allow me just to get into frame so I can show you the size of this. Here he is. Now, this scaffolding is a new addition. This wasn't here the last time that I came. And now you get an idea as to his size. This was an incredible thing. I mean, one must consider that this ancient city was built in only 20 years and is pretty extensive. Jayavarman went on an epic building spree. And if you consider to build such a vast city with such incredible temples, that leads one to only a single conclusion, and that is, he had plenty of money. And what could well have happened here is this very linga could have been sheathed in metal, maybe even gold. So when this was first here, glistening as the sun came through the doorway, It must have made people stop and look on in absolute wonder. And as I said at the beginning, I consider temples like this to be almost machines. They are built with a functional purpose, and that is to grant people their wishes, desires, and to help them with their troubles and their thoughts. Water would have been poured over the linga, of course. It would have travelled down the Soma Sutra, and it would have exited through this passageway here. Then the liquid that has been poured over the linga reappears. It comes out of here, the side of the temple. And this is why I consider these temples, this kind of temple, to be a functional machine. Because in there, let's say water was poured over. It's just plain old water. But when it re-emerges here, it has a divine power. It has become in some ways magical. And standing on this very spot is incredibly special to me, because I remember the first time I came here. And when I came here, I thought, I wonder what those ancients did, those that came to this temple with their desires. You know, help me with my family, help me with my crops. And let's say they stood exactly here and they came to collect that blessed water. They would have stood exactly like this, but they would have been shorter, wouldn't they? Because I'm rather tall. So I go down a bit and bang, look at that. It's exactly the right height for standing up like this. And I like to think that nigh on 1,000 years ago, this is what happened. Collecting those blessings and oh so often taking them and going back to their homes or their farms. Now this is not our only temple in this video, because I'm now going to whisk you off to another absolutely amazing site. And here is that second temple I wish to bring you to. This is Damri temple, and what Damri means in Khmer is elephant. And there's a good reason that it has that name, because on the corners here we see magnificent stone elephants. But there's a second reason I wish to bring you here, and it's because my favourite god dwells here, and that is Indra, the chap of the thunder and the lightning and of the skies. And he is just above that doorway. So how could I go by without a quick visit? So let us go and visit him to pay our respects, because of all the Hindu gods I call upon in my travels, it is he that I look up to and ask for assistance, because some of these forgotten temples I film are in very perilous places. There are landmines and all sorts of things. But it's always Indra that I ask to give me safe passage and guidance. And you can see him, can't you? See the elephants there? That is Aravata, his mighty white elephant with multiple heads that he travels around on. And of course Indra is just above him. It's always an absolute delight to see him. He's one of those gods that kind of fell out of favour, but with me he will always be number one. It is here at this side staircase we get a very good idea as to its past glory, because have a look, there is the most resplendent lion, and there used to be many of these lions here guarding this wonderful site, but unfortunately this is the last one. And the reason for that is due to looters. You see, this temple is part of that group in the city at Koh Ker, that abandoned site, and it is surrounded by jungle. Well, that was a great opportunity for looters to come in and work at free will. They had no worries or concerns they would ever be disturbed. So things like that mighty lion that just stands off my left shoulder were hauled away, and it ripped the soul out of these sites. But we're fortunate because they didn't take everything. Have a look here. This is, of course, an elephant. Dear old Damri, this is why this temple was named so. And isn't it marvellous to see him here in place? I mean, it really brings me deep joy when I discover things like this. I feel it's the God's will, you know. But some of these refused to move. They stuck stubbornly to their ground and said, no, here we stand. And what's great about this particular statue is, look, can you see this ring here? There's another here, and this patterning here. What we've got is how these elephants were set up to ride, and it's not too different from a horse. There's another ring here. There would have been leather straps coming down here, here, across here, and then finally round the back of his ear. This kind of configuration I know they use in India sometimes. And on the top we have some kind of saddle. It really is a pleasure to have him with me. He's an absolute beauty, and one that didn't wander off with those looters. As always, I thank you for watching and ask you, please, to join me again next time when we go on a quick 10-minute adventure to visit those ancient sites that Hindu gods still dwell in, but oh so far away. And if you enjoy these videos, as I say to you, please let me know in the comments, because the Embassy of India is sponsoring these and they want to know. So if you want more adventures, then please comment down below. I would be exceedingly grateful. Until next time, it only remains for me to wish you absolutely nothing but the very best. You take good care.